Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Shoes Off Inside. It's been a while. We've taken a break, but we're all here. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Tamlin.
Hello.
All in our
Hey.
little locations. How's everyone doing? It's been our last episode was with the fabulous Daniel Henney. Of course, we love him and his dogs.
And Kelly had no furniture behind her except except
I had
the couch. You had the super comfy couch.
I had the super comfy couch.
Yeah.
I've had that for a little while. My parents actually, that was the first thing my parents actually bought. They bought it for my family room because,
They
knew
there.
that they were going to be staying on it most of the time, hanging out, falling asleep on the couch in front of the TV.
Yeah.
I witnessed that firsthand when I came to see you in Vegas. Her parents came over and I think both of them, or maybe your dad, one of them fell asleep while we were hanging out.
Dad fell
a whole
asleep.
family couch. Like my mom, my dad, and the two dogs will all fall asleep together on that giant couch.
Oh my God.
That's the purpose of it.
Well, it's
And now
super
everybody cannot see that fabulous table chandelier right behind Kelly because she's walking. Yeah, there it is. There is the light lighting up the goddess and her house in Vegas. So, yeah.
All right, so Kelly's back in Vegas because you've been going back and forth Vegas, LA because of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But
and I took a trip too.
Oh, that's right.
I went to San Miguel de Allende.
Right.
It's amazing.
I've been wanting to go there.
Yeah, I mean, the entire town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Yep.
It's absolutely gorgeous. So my friend Scott Bernstein just moved out there. He just bought a house. So my friend Jean and I went out there to go and visit him and see the town. And we're already planning our next trip back.
Oh, wow.
Can I go next time?
We'll be there for Day of the Dead.
Oh,
that's the place to be for
I
Day
heard
of the Dead.
That's the most amazing place to be. Yes, I've had friends do that for sure.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. And while I was there, you guys, I haven't really posted it publicly because I want to edit some of the stuff. But I did a balloon ride, an air balloon.
Oh, yeah. How fun.
It's been on my bucket list forever. And so I finally did it. And it was fabulous.
Bravo.
Was it?
The takeoff, the landing was pretty rough though. I mean, it was a little windy, so our basket kind of bounced and bounced.
Yeah, that's probably the hardest part.
And the only safety is they tell you squat down and hold on to these ropes, and so you're just squatting
inside the basket until you feel the ground.
You're all in this tiny little square, and everybody's like squatting down on top of each other, and you're bouncing around on the landing.
Oh, I didn't realize it was such a rough landing. Yeah.
It's a basket. It's a basket with hot air.
You totally just go flying out.
Right.
There's nothing to hold you in. It's not like you're strapped in or anything.
Oh, that's funny.
You're like, just squat down.
But it was worth it. It was worth it.
Literally hold on for dear life.
Yeah, really. But it was worth it seeing the town from above.
It was amazing.
Really?
It was so gorgeous and just a great experience. I highly recommend anybody to do it.
Okay.
Can you enlighten me and others who don't know where San Miguel de Allende is and where situated? Is it near the water?
It's not near the water, and it's a high elevation. So I think 5,000. So people sometimes go and they get a little bit lightheaded for the first couple of days. You know, when you're, in that sort of lack of oxygen kind of place, and then you just feel a little funky.
Yeah, that's why you need cacao or cocoa leaves.
Yeah, cocoa leaves.
Machu Picchu. Yeah, it's like you need a little bit of that natural cacao. Yeah. Wow.
It's not as high as I guess Cusco. I don't know how tall that is. Yeah. But that's everybody climatizes at Cusco before they start the hike to Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, that does not prepare you. I have done that. And the cacao leaves, awesome, but you still get really sick. I mean,
wow. I haven't done Machu Picchu. I did Everest, not all the way, but I went to 18,500 feet.
Wow.
So base camp is 17,500.
Oh, so you passed base camp?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend that just did it, and she was like 300 yards. She could see base camp. and she just got so ill
Oh,
that they had
no.
to airlift her out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shoot. Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, people definitely get sick at that elevation for sure. I had, in my group when I went, I had 3 people who didn't make it. They couldn't get up there because they were so sick.
Wow.
Yeah,
And then we
yeah.
did
Did
watch.
you train?
Sorry?
Did you train for it?
Yeah, I mean, I trained for a couple months for sure, like pretty
Oh my
heavy
God.
duty, but
Wow.
no altitude training. I mean, it's not like I had access to high altitude. I was living in New York City at the time when I went. So I trained
Oh my God.
physically, and then you take something called Diamox, which is a prescription pill that helps you acclimatize, but you have to be very careful because it can veil, altitude sickness. Yeah, so you have
Oh,
to be very careful when you take it, and you really have to monitor, kind of how you feel. So I was taking
Uh-huh.
Diamox, but here's the irony. On the final day of summiting to 18.5, I forgot to take it.
oh,
Totally forgot to take it. And so but I was fine. I was fine.
oh! You maybe because you. How many days or how long does it take you to do that?
To summit, it took us 9 days, something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
and then coming down, of course, it's half the time because you're just coming down.
Right,
Okay,
right.
here's my
Um,
question. For 9 days, where are you pooping?
That's the question. Yeah.
in holes. I mean, you basically they have little outhouses, but basically you go
Mhm.
into the outhouse and literally, I mean, I should have taken a picture of this. I never did. It's literally a hole and just
Yeah,
right straight down like the mountain. I mean, it's just a hole.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's where you're pooping. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
but then it's freezing, so you got to take off all your clothes because you're in a jumpsuit thingy,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's
It
one
was
of those
cool.
where you have to get pretty much naked.
Well,
Oh my
I mean, you
God,
learn
not
how,
the shirt,
well,
the
let's put it this way.
understuff.
You learn how to take as little off to
As
be able to
little.
go, but it was so fucking cold that at night when we were in our little tea houses sleeping, which is basically a shack, right? There's no insulation or anything. I would have everything I had on and
Yeah,
then the sleeping bag, and I would close it so tightly except my nose so I could breathe, right?
but the nose is freezing.
Nose is freezing, but I had to breathe. And then the
Yeah.
next morning, my water bottle would be solid ice. It would just be
Yeah.
totally frozen
Yeah.
block. So
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, altitude, here's the one thing I will say about altitude. No matter how much you train, some people, they can train forever and they'll still get sick. So it's
Mhm.
really individual physiology, in
Mhm.
how you can handle altitude. Some people can, some people can't. Smokers, for instance, sometimes they have a better, easier time at altitude because their lungs are so used to
The thin
less
air. Yeah.
oxygen.
Wow.
So
Wow. Lack of
interesting.
oxygen.
Isn't
Yeah.
that
That's
So their
interesting?
because
bodies.
we
Yeah.
were doing the hike to Machu Picchu. There were people who were pulled over on the side smoking
Yes.
cigarettes. I was like, how the fuck? Like,
It's crazy, but think about it, right? So their body is so used to less oxygen.
yeah.
So they are used to that. It's crazy to think of it that way. So, because I've had friends try to climb like Aconcagua in Argentina and they trained for a year and they didn't make it.
Wow.
But then these British guys, apparently, who were total smokers, didn't train at all. They totally made it with no problem.
That's
So
amazing.
I
Yeah.
know
That's
it's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
But
Wow.
anyway, okay.
That's
So you went on your trip to
so,
Mexico.
so Mexico is the country where San Miguel de Allende is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's
Wow.
I mean, I think the closest major city is Mexico City,
And that's a
right?
3-hour drive.
It's a drive. Did you fly or
Oh my
drive? How
God.
did you get there?
There's a direct flight from Los Angeles, but
Oh,
it's at like 1 in the morning. It leaves at 1 in the morning.
Oh, I
And
didn't
so
know
your
that.
first day is just, getting back on track.
Okay.
You know,
Sure.
But
Sure.
there's
Sure.
a
skiing
Sure.
and
direct
Sure.
snapping,
flight.
and
Oh,
then
didn't know that.
it is. I don't know why, but
Okay.
whatever. But then
Yeah.
coming back, I mean, thank goodness it's a direct flight coming back at a civilized hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
How gorgeous. And happy belated birthday and all the wonderful wishes for this
Oh
year
gosh.
too. Yeah, because it was your birthday trip, right?
Well, sort of.
Kind of. I mean, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've been celebrating my birthday. People have been taking me out for dinner, and I've been having celebrations for
Yeah.
over a month now. And I'm
What?
starting to feel like really embarrassed and guilty.
No,
Like,
no.
you
It
can't
happens
take me
once
out
a
for my
year, and you stretch
birthday.
it out.
Yeah,
Stretch it out.
Stretch it out for as long as you can.
Stretch it out
My
because how are we supposed to make time for all our beloveds? It's like, yeah, it's like Yeah, and you could take me out for your birthday. Again, it's just, just trying to celebrate you. So
Yeah.
Aw,
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
My
of
birthday's
course.
next week.
What?
it is.
Yeah. Yeah. March
What
28th.
have you got planned? Anything good?
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy-
Thank you. Well, I just went on a trip 2 days ago, actually, and I think we should go at some point together. I took my mom to a place called Murrieta Hot Springs Resort in Murrieta, right? So that's
Where's
like
Marietta?
it's like out by like Riverside,
Temecula.
sort of Temecula. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
where
So
you
it's a
could go
ride.
hot air ballooning. You could go hot air
Yes, you
ballooning in
can.
Temecula. Yeah.
Because that's
Oh,
wine
okay.
country, right? But
Yeah.
Murrieta Hot Springs, it has a long history. It was first opened in 1902 by a German immigrant who discovered the hot springs there, and he opened up this sort of spa retreat because there's natural hot springs in that
Right.
area,
Mhm.
and so. He built this place out, and then it changed hands like 5 times. At one point, it was owned by a church as a retreat, then another resort, and now they just reopened in February. And they
Oh.
redid a lot of it, and they kind of built more pools and whatever. So it's partially open right now. It's not completely finished.
Was it
Oh.
because of COVID as well?
They
The
probably
slow.
may have been delayed because of COVID, yeah. But
Okay.
but literally, it's only been open for a month and a half, right? But I had
Ooh.
heard about it through another friend, so I'm like, oh my god, that'd be a really cool, fun little trip to go on. And I took my mom. We went during the week because I'm on spring break right now from school, and it is lovely. And it's not even done yet.
Is it
But
like onsen? Like,
yes, all outdoor pools. They have all these different temperature pools, right?
Oh.
With all hot spring mineral water. So of course we
do
know how
people wear
healing that
swimsuit?
is. Swimsuit, yes,
Okay.
because it's co-ed. It's co-ed.
Okay.
But yeah, so far there's 18 pools open.
Oh, okay.
That's
Wow,
a lot.
That's a lot.
But
yeah.
they're adding more. They're adding a lot more. They're going to add like individual tubs and this. I mean, it's really pretty like extravagant in terms of how many pools that they're creating. But
Is
it's
it
real.
pricey?
Well, right now, because they're not completely open, they're doing like a discount rate. So when they fully open, the rooms are going to be like $400 a night, right? Or so.
Yeah.
We did a walk-in rate for $243.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
great.
So because we came during the week, they're like, yeah, you can do a walk-in rate. You don't need to really reserve. So just come and, we'll give you the walk-in rate. And that gives you use of
Idea
the whole
to
place.
take your mom on something like that.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Did she love it? What was her?
Loved it.
Oh,
Loved
good,
it. She did
good.
not want to leave. I mean, we love hot springs, right? And we did feel like it was healing and it was good for our skin. And they give you a little mud thing every day. So you slather yourself with mud, let that dry. And yeah.
That would be my mother's absolute worst nightmare.
Why?
Oh, really?
Why?
Why?
She doesn't want to go anywhere where she can't wear a full face of makeup and her hair can't be completely done. And she's also a germaphobe. So anything like shared anything would freak her the hell out.
Oh.
And like the idea of slathering mud on her skin, oh, no way. No, that's not happening.
But it's so good for you. It's bentonite clay. Bentonite clay can it absorbs all these toxins from your body. Where she would be like, no, thanks.
My mom had a facial, and it hasn't been until just recently that she even had pedicures and manicures. She don't like to be touched.
Wait, but is she a germaphobe? Is she kind of like?
She is a germaphobe.
She's a germaphobe.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like she wouldn't eat off of the same plate or drink off of the same cup. Like, yeah, she's very.
Wow. Okay.
She was so clean with my brother when he was a baby. He got really sick once, and the doctor told her, "You need to let him play in the dirt."
Yes, yeah, that's what they say. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because she's too, like freaked out about the germs.
Yeah, immune systems and everything
Okay.
like that. Wow.
Then this is not a mother-daughter trip for you, Kelly. So
Not for me.
yes, okay.
No, she doesn't want to go on a poker cruise, though.
Wait, cruise ships, I think, are so germy.
Right?
I know. I'm actually going on one at the end of the month with World Poker Tour, WPT. They're doing one of those Virgin Atlantic ships.
Uh-huh.
And we're going at the end of the month. We're doing like a poker cruise.
No way.
Yeah, not my mom, but me and my girlfriend Jean, because she's a professional poker player.
Oh
Right.
my
Wait. So
God.
let me understand this though. You go on a cruise to then just sit inside and play poker. Is that what?
I mean, yes, there's poker all day long, all
Mhm.
these games going on, but you don't have to do all the games.
Right.
And the first night is actually the fun night because it's like a intro night and it's a pajama poker
Oh, how
tournament.
fun.
So I ordered this stuff. I ordered like all leopard print, head to toe.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna be
God.
like ridiculously dolled out in leopard, and I have like a leopard turban, and I have like a leopard like pajamas with leopard slippers and leopard like bathrobe thingy. I'm going like ridiculously
That's
leopard.
funny.
Yeah.
Wait. I have so many questions. Hang on. So is it only poker players that go on this cruise? Like everyone has
Yeah,
to be a poker
because
player.
because they've taken over the entire ship. But I'm sure
Right.
that they have significant others who are not going to play as much.
Okay.
Like I'm not going to play that much. You know, I'm not a professional. But my friend said she's been on a lot of these tours, cruises, and she said that not everybody that goes is a professional. She's like,
Mm.
it's mostly not professionals.
Okay.
Okay.
More
Okay.
professionals don't want to be bothered with this kind of stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
That's what she says.
Okay. All
But
right.
we'll see.
For how long?
It's 1 week, and it goes to Cayman Islands and the Bahamas.
Ah.
Holy moly. So
Well,
if
that'd be
you
nice.
don't want to play, you can get off the boat and cruise into the
Yeah,
islands and
those
stuff.
are only 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, how
Yeah.
The rest of the time.
fun.
Okay.
How
But there are
fun.
amazing restaurants. I like watched the video of what these cruise ships are like.
That's
It's a
what they say.
smaller cruise ship. It's not one of those like 5,000 people. So, but it's smaller cruise ship and it's absolutely gorgeous.
I'm not a
And
cruise person though. I just
I
don't.
don't think I am
Yeah.
either.
No.
I've been on like a couple of cruises, but this doesn't look like a cruise that I've been on, you
Okay.
know.
Or is it
Okay.
adults only? Adults
Oh,
only?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're also playing poker.
Yeah, that's what I
Right,
said.
right,
Okay,
right,
that
right,
makes
right,
it
right.
okay. I'm
That
not,
makes
I'm
it
not,
okay.
no, I'm not like a kid hater. I'm just saying that if it's a cruise full of kids running around and screaming and like splat, I don't know, that would be a little
And
much.
with way too much sugar because they're eating
Yes,
all that ice
that's
cream all
right.
day long. Yeah, there's no buffets. There's no
Oh,
buffets in this. It's all restaurants.
oh, okay. Okay,
Oh,
so it
That
is
okay.
a
makes a
little bit
difference, I
nicer.
think,
Yeah, it does
from the
make a
kind of
difference. Yeah.
clientele that you're gonna get,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Got
Okay.
it. Okay. Well, and
Cool.
Tam,
Cool,
are
cool,
you,
cool, cool.
have you traveled or you're like, well,
No, I have to stay put because our
Okay.
theater, outside in theater, is
oh, yes.
under construction and it should be finished by July.
Ooh.
Here in Los Angeles, I think because we've had 4 straight weeks of rain, it's been difficult to have because the framing is all up, but to put the drywall because we keep
Oh.
on having to dry the wood of the framing out, exit all the water, dry it out,
Ugh.
and then a new rain comes in and the roof is still full of holes because we're installing that at the same time, but
Oh,
we're
okay.
foreseeing that we'll still be able to finish on time, which is June. So I have to stay in town just in case things happen.
Tamla, can you
And
remind
then
people,
there's a bunch
Tam,
of stuff.
Tam,
Uh-huh.
can you remind everyone who may not know what you're talking about? That you, the
It's
theater?
a
Yeah.
theater that my love and I, Daniel Blinkoff and I, are founding called Outside In Theater. It's a traditional theater mixed in with digital streaming capability, and it's in Northeast LA, known as Highland Park. 99-seat theater, and it's
Like
a,
not
it's a
okay.
nonprofit. So it's something that we're trying to do to serve all the artists out there, especially those who are unheard or unrepresented,
It's so
to give
amazing.
them a shot at as to telling stories and how to learn the business of show business,
Ah,
because you can create your art, but you got to give out your art. You got to sell your art, be
yeah.
able to show it and to share it. And so
Are you
that's
guys gonna are
Mhm.
you guys gonna also be teaching?
There are classes. I'm not going to be teaching. I'm the one who's trying to get the word out because I'm a face, and
Okay.
so it's just about teaching. There will be classes, but we have to listen to what the community wants too, because in Los Angeles there's constant conversations about gentrification and representation of the community. Who is the community? Who has the voice? And so
Right.
we're trying to listen to what the kids of Franklin High School right down the street. That is the high school of Gene Roddenberry of Star Trek, as
Oh,
well as Occidental College, where Barack Obama went to college for 2 years. So we want to make sure that we listen to the voices on the ground and not just be, all Hollywoody, but
That's
it's
awesome.
really important to, to bring about a sense of community.
Yes.
Emphasis on unity, like Kelly Hu's t-shirts, UNITY.
Yeah.
So when you do like a 99
seat
theater, that qualifies you for certain things, right?
Correct, because there are certain grants you can you can apply for in terms of funding. Ticket prices will be a certain price, or can be a certain price. Contracts for us to pay the actors, designers, administrative is also by Equity, which is the union house. We'll never see Kelly Hu in a play. I've had this discussion with Kelly Hu.
Wait.
Oh, she said this before.
So I actually told you, right? I did the vagina monologues.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I agreed to do it was because I thought it was going to be one of those little 99 seat theaters.
Oh.
It was in Hawaii, and it was the Hawaii theater. And I had never been to the Hawaii theater.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
No, because I don't know, maybe just growing up, I never saw like live theater, and I didn't even know it existed.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. And they had just finished redoing it, and they're like, oh, it's going to be at the Hawaii theater. And I'm thinking it's going to be, small.
Yeah.
Theater. Maybe I can do this because I'm just sitting in a seat. I'm reading off a card if I have to.
Yep.
It was 1,400 seats.
Yes, I know it very well. Mm-hmm.
It was so nerve-wracking.
Really?
I feel you, girl. I feel you.
Going up, like literally heaving.
I feel you. I know you, girl. I got you. No worries. I know that because of the value of that piece, people were there to see Kelly Hu read those words. It's not acting those words, it's reading those words. And I think that, anybody who was lucky enough to be in that theater got a show. And it has nothing to do with your performance. It's because they want to see these powerful words by Eve Ensler being read by folks like you.
So I get that. And thank you, Tam. Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely the words. But what was really surprising to me, and this was coming off of like Scorpion King and X-Men.
Yeah.
What was surprising to me is how many men showed up.
Oh, of course.
Well, that's not surprising.
I think really maybe because the word vagina was
correct.
in the title.
Yes,
you are correct.
That and you're in it. So
yeah, it's the provocativeness, the provocative nature of, and that was purposeful for Eve to do because she can draw in persons who are not going to be interested, in female reproductive sexual health unless she provokes people.
Right.
And to bring in people like you who elicit that kind of excitement. They're getting an education without knowing they're being educated.
Yes.
And it's like just to be present. It's like, it's just, it's just so rebellious. It's so insidious. And sometimes that's the best way because it scares the shit out of men to know that they are part and parcel of a lot of the problems that women face, but they are also part of the solution and part of the joy.
That's right.
So again, it's about sharing what we do. Roe versus Wade, this is an election issue. It is the issue for American women, I think.
Sure is.
And if men cannot get into that idea about being able to fuck without any repercussions, because everybody goes, well, I want to, spread my seed around. It's like, sorry, but I'm not going to be the one to carry it if you're not going to be part and parcel.
I know,
of
but
raising
what's
a child in the world.
so disappointing? What's so disappointing is that men are still the ones ultimately making these decisions about women's bodies and what we can and cannot do.
About women's bodies.
And without thinking
I think
that
all of these senators and judges who are making these decisions for women should be required to take a class.
Or see Kelly Hu in vagina monologues.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Or see Kelly Hu in vagina monologues.
That's never going to happen again.
What about the 99-seat theater that Tamlin's opening? You could do that.
That is, I think that is an idea, that is a possibility. Eve has kind of, from what I understand, it's a 30-year-old piece, if not older.
But it's still
So,
relevant.
but
I mean,
she's
it's
gone
more
on.
relevant now than
Of
ever.
course. I know.
I would
But
do
again,
it. I would totally do it.
there we go.
Oh
There we
my
go. So
God.
it's about, really doing it. And then what she does is that she gives away the rights to the play. She doesn't gain anything, but she wants the funds that are collected to go to the organizations that really support female
Oh,
reproductive health.
that's
This is what
great.
my basic understanding is.
That's
So
great.
yeah, so I have to kind of stay at home. My life is a vacation every day. Me and my Daniel were just saying that last night. But there are other trips that have to, take place over the year because of work. I mean, Kelly and I are, and you may, we're lucky enough to be able to have that opportunities to travel for work. And if we get a day or two to, go look around and see where we are,
Yeah.
that's the kind of,
Yeah.
luxury and privilege that I get to have.
I'm going to Korea at the end of June. I've been invited to
Yay!
speak at this big, huge event that the Seoul Metropolitan Government is putting on. And so yeah, but I haven't been back to Korea in 12 years, maybe.
Oh,
Oh,
It's been a
are you
while.
taking them?
wow.
I would love to take my mom, and I've suggested it many times. She just doesn't think she can do the trip. But I'm like,
Wait a minute.
Mom, I will get you a business class ticket.
Yeah,
It's a direct flight,
yeah,
to Seoul. But she's not very confident in her condition. Like it fluctuates, right? She's 88. So her
right.
condition fluctuates day to day. So she doesn't know how she's going to feel.
Okay.
But I told her, Mom, psychological. It's like if you have something to look forward to, like going to Seoul and, seeing her, like one of her favorite sisters, that might be
Yeah,
motivate her a bit. So
yeah,
still thinking, but Andre, my fiance, he has never been to Korea. So he wants to go.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, so we're
okay.
gonna go, and
That'd be wonderful.
yeah, I think that'll be great. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been to Korea, so that'll be
Yeah.
fun.
So
Um,
so tell your mom, because my mom is 88 as well, and we're going to take her to Okinawa for her 88th birthday. The
oh,
88.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So again, we're all wonderful, you know, concerned daughters. I think we think of. I mean, that was the first question that came out of my head, and it came out of Kelly's mouth first. Like, are you going to take your mom? Because
Yeah.
that's how we are.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
but the offer of a business class ticket that's taking care of the trip, give her a day of rest for travel so she's, jet lagged when she arrives.
Yeah,
And if she wants to attend the event that you're being feted at, she doesn't have to. I mean, but
right.
she
Oh,
wants to,
totally.
just my mom's going to do it. And she
She's going
knows that
to.
we're going to exactly take those days where she gets to rest in Korea. And then if she wants to go out to dinner, she
Yeah.
doesn't have to,
Yeah,
those kinds
yeah.
of things.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm hoping I will convince her of. But I'm
Yeah.
working on it. I'm working on it. Look, I took some convincing for her to go to Murrieta Hot Springs for a night and 2 days, and then afterwards she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad we went." I'm like,
There we
"Okay,
go. You got
we'll
it.
work
You
on it.
got
We'll work
this.
on
She's
it."
got this.
Yeah,
She has got
yeah.
this. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I'm going to switch gears for a second because
Yes,
now
ma'am.
we're going to kind of talk about something a little bit more serious, which
Yeah.
is the fact that how do I even get into this, ladies? Because Tamlin and Kelly kind of know what's been going on with me. So I've been, in academia for a couple years now, and started at a new school in the fall. And most everyone knows, I think, who listens to the podcast, I teach journalism, right? So
Mhm.
it's been a tough year for me because the workload has been pretty heavy. But then something really pretty hurtful and shocking happened to me at the end of last semester. So what happens in college? I don't know if I'll just educate people a little bit. Students are asked to do an evaluation, a course evaluation after the semester, and so and it's anonymous, and so they are. It's a rating system. There's all these questions in terms of like how the class was and da 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 da, and then they're allowed to write whatever they want about the class, about the professor. So one one section that I was teaching in the fall was quite difficult, and I knew from the very beginning it was going to be hard because of the chemistry of the students. You never know what you're going to get, right? And
Mhm.
so I knew this was going to be a tough course. Unfortunately, I was right. So I got my evaluations back in early January, and one student in particular, remember, this is anonymous. One student in particular said that I had said racial and prejudicial comments targeted at students in the class. So you can imagine someone like me who is, I feel like a champion, when it comes to
Right?
fighting racism and prejudice and
Exactly. You're
discrimination.
like the racism
Yeah,
warrior.
I mean, that's what I've kind of committed my life to, especially because of everything I've experienced in my entire life, right? So for someone to make that claim and then no substantiation, there were no
Mm,
examples, just said it, just wrote it very scathingly and incendiary
mhm,
remarks, right? And
mhm,
so
mhm,
that unfortunately is on my record, right? It goes in my file. So I had found out that I could ask for a redaction um, to the committee at the university. So I did immediately. And I had
Of
to wait
course.
30 days for the committee to look over the request. And after 30 days, they rejected my redaction request. And I couldn't believe it, actually. I couldn't believe it. And they
mm,
even
mm.
cited the policy that they go by, saying this does not fall under the guidelines of the policy. And ironically, my colleague and my deans, they actually saw it. They're like, actually, this totally falls under the policy because it was a character assassination.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm,
And
mhm.
And
so
it was only one student. If that had come from like a
multiple,
few students,
right,
multiple
Right.
students,
right,
then you could maybe give it some credit,
a
maybe
hundred
give
percent.
it a yes. But
Yes.
being that it comes from one
Yeah.
student
Yeah.
and the fact that they would not back you,
No,
Right.
I know.
that's just awful.
It was off.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very painful from the moment I read that student evaluation to the point where it was my redaction was rejected. And even to this day, ladies, I will say that I think about it every day.
Of course you do.
I've thought
Yeah.
about it every day since this
Yeah.
evaluation came out
Yeah.
in early June. I
Yeah.
sorry, in early January.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I feel like, wow, this is so like the antithesis of who I am, but now it's on my record. And but the bigger picture problem, and this is what I want to talk about, is
Mhm.
this is what's happening in our society in general. Okay. It's people hide behind the anonymity of an evaluation or this, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
The trolls out there, they can say whatever the hell they want, any
Mhm.
time of day
Yes.
or night with
Mhm.
no repercussions,
Mhm.
right? And the damage it does to the person on the receiving end it can be so dramatically powerful
Absolutely.
to the point
And that's what
Absolutely.
they
of
want.
to the
Yeah.
point of the suicide rates of young people
Yeah.
are skyrocketing because
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
social media, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It attacks you. It has attacked you on both the professional as well as the personal level,
right,
and that's
right.
what we're absolutely trying to. You're trying to recuperate from as well as many others who are subject to this kind of behavior, this
Right.
trolling behavior.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
when it comes to the academic world, and then we'll get into the bigger picture, when it comes to the academic world, this is what's happening on college campuses across the country. It's this rage, it's this sort of lack of responsibility and accountability.
Mhm.
And now this division, there used to be civil discourse on college campuses, right? Like, remember
Mhm.
in the 60s, right? That's where a lot of ideas came out, all the sort of rebellion. But, it was like, serious thought and serious issues that they
There
would
were actually debates
right, that
and
made
people had to
Mhm.
take
sense, right?
responsibility for what they said.
Right. And
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
enacted change, positive change because of these actions taken on college campuses. But now what's happening on college campuses, it's like this major conflict and rage that is not even going anywhere. It's not doing anything positive. And then the universities themselves are running scared, so they don't want to do anything about it. They're
Mhm.
not going to, take sides. They're not going to,
Back their
yeah, they're not going to
employees,
back their
back their
employees.
teachers. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
power now is all in the students' hands, whether
Right.
it's right or wrong, and there's nothing we can do about it. And so that's what's happening now. The civil discourse has now become uncivilized discourse. It's become sort of out of control to a certain extent.
Mhm.
So it's not a great environment, and I've been racking my brain about it. Like, what is happening? Why is this happening? So I listened to this podcast recently because a friend of mine sent it to me, knowing what I've been going through. Do you guys know the podcast Hidden Brain? It's
No.
it's an NPR podcast, and the host is Shankar Vedantam, a great journalist. There was a podcast that he put out recently, and look, I took all these notes. I took all these notes because it was so powerful. So
Mm.
he interviewed a psychologist called Jonathan Haidt, and he's done these studies on what is going on in society, especially with young people and social media. And he said that something shifted starting in 2012. And he said it was the advent of social media.
Yeah.
He said, so what happened? It increased anxiety and depression. Hospital submissions for self-harm, like cutting, skyrocketed around the
Mhm.
world, not just
Mhm.
here.
Oh,
Preteens,
wow.
Yeah.
preteens are
Mhm.
3 times the cutting incidence, self-harm, 3 times higher now than before.
Mhm.
Preteens?
Preteens.
Preteens, yeah.
Suicide rates amongst girls, it's at the highest ever. And then, he went on to say the time spent on the phone for young people, teens, about 8 to 10 hours, preteens, 6 to 8 hours. But then here's the catch. He says, they surveyed all of these teenagers, and really, in essence, they're spending about 16 hours on their phone. Okay, this is why. It's called continuous partial attention. And what that is, even though they're having a conversation maybe, but they're still sort of looking at their phone,
Mhm.
people do that, right?
Mhm.
And so basically, if you add all of that up, like in class, they're looking at their phones. That my students do that, drives me fucking crazy.
Mm.
They're just never fully present.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just never fully present. So that
Correct.
distraction is sucking the life out of them because there's no time for anything else. There's no outdoor activity. There's no connection with, people, face to face. There's no communication, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
They're just sucked into this. And
Right.
that's what's happening. So it's increasing anxiety, depression, low self-worth, all of these things.
Mm.
Yeah.
I actually just sent around I didn't post it, but I just sent it to a few of my friends who are writers and people in the business. This woman talked about how she had a meeting over at Netflix as a writer, and they were pitching things. And one of the notes that they get is that the series or film cannot be too complicated anymore because you have to be writing for double screen, meaning the screen that is playing your piece and the phone.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
everybody
my
is
God.
watching television
Wow.
with the
Yes.
phone
Yes.
and missing points. So
Mhm.
you have to dumb everything down
Correct.
in order for people to be able to follow you while they're also on their phones.
Isn't
Right.
that, and I believe it. I completely believe it because I
Yeah.
see it in my classroom where students, they think I'm blind or something. Literally, I'm like, I look at them, I'm like, do you think I'm blind? And I don't
It's not that
see
they think
you.
you're blind, it's that they don't give
They
a
don't
shit.
care.
Yeah.
They don't
They
care.
don't give a shit.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And that's the other thing I will say. And
Because they don't think it's rude, I
this is
think.
kind of depressing. Actually, I'm going to
Because
share.
everybody else does it too. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
my other
It's
fellow
what they've
students
grown up
doing
with.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, here's the
Yeah.
other. Okay, I'm gonna share with you something depressing about my own experience, but I'm gonna share some more stats about exactly that. So they were saying that they did a study on college students, and so one question was, how much would we need to pay you to stay off your smartphone for a month? Right, that was the first
Oh,
question. And the students would be like, oh, maybe $50 to $100, whatever. They gave some sort of
For a
figure
month?
reluctantly. Yeah,
For a
reluctantly.
month?
For a month, right.
$100 for a month?
For a month to stay off their smartphone.
You couldn't give them $100 for a day.
There's
I
no
know.
way.
I know. I was a
They're
little bit
bullshitting, yeah.
I was a little bit surprised, but the second question was even more surprising. Then they said, how about if we got everyone to get off their phones? If you knew that everyone was getting off their phones, how much would you want to be paid? You know what their answer was? They said, oh, I would pay for that. I would
Mm.
pay if I knew that other people were going to be off their phones.
Yeah.
So the conclusion is that they're saying these students feel trapped. they feel like they're trapped in this
Yep.
cycle of using their phones and social
Yep.
media that
Yep.
they would be willing to pay for
Yep.
everyone to get off their phones.
Yep.
Mm.
That's pretty fucking sad, right? So,
No, that's the hope.
well,
that they would pay for everybody else to stay off their phones.
Right. So is that
So
is that the answer?
I don't believe, because I have to backtrack a little bit when you said, because again, to be able to download this, this crisis, there's always something to do. When you said there's nothing we can do about it, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Because what you just told us, May, is that these kids are willing to pay for everybody else to stay off their phones. They have that power.
They know it's
just
bad.
don't know they have it yet.
Right. Right. But it's that FOMO. It's like they won't do
Correct.
it because they know they're going to miss out on something, or they think they're going to miss out on something.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. I mean, for example, just backtracking literally to the conversation before we started this podcast, May got the notification that Kate Middleton is diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
And immediately we talked about it, but then we literally said, let's stop. And Kelly said, let's put this on the podcast, because this is the conversation that we hope that all our listeners and all our viewers are interested in hearing us talk about, because we're trying to include everybody.
Yeah. And have conversation. Yes.
That's the hope.
Have smart, intelligent conversations about these issues. And speaking of Kate Middleton, that's another perfect example of how social media twists everything, right? I mean, that story has been twisted.
Her.
Oh God, the things that they were saying about her, about the family, about they were getting divorced, and that's why she's not showing up. And I mean,
what
everything.
I heard was she was getting a facelift, and that's why she hasn't been on camera.
Yeah. So, but the news came out as we were about to start the podcast. The news flashed across, and I was like, oh my God, Kate Middleton has cancer, and she's going through some chemo treatment.
Yeah.
It's early stage. They did not say what kind of cancer. We just, officially, before they said she was having abdominal surgery, and that's why she was out. So, it's anybody's guess, but this is what happens, right? Now it's going to be twisted even more, thinking, oh my God, but it's all social media. It's this craze of, sort of misinformation, disinformation. And then sort of, again, they were saying, what's happening, especially with girls and young women, is that social media companies have figured out that their girls are more susceptible. And they have figured out the formula of why, and they go after that. They want to girls more than boys want the sense of connection and community.
Yep.
And so they feed into social media these ideas of community and belonging. But how do you belong? Oh, you have to be prettier. You have to be thinner. You have to wear this outfit. You have to do this. You have to, that's what's happening. That's why the suicide rates are so much higher for girls than for boys.
But I think as women, we're naturally more drawn to like personal communication, right?
Oh, yeah.
Nurturing one another. Like something goes wrong, you call your girlfriend. We're more apt to community like connection. Whereas I think men oftentimes when they're going through stuff, they don't talk to anybody.
For sure.
They don't. They
agree.
don't talk about their problems with one another.
I think females,
we're
genetically wired toward that, because even though the three of us are not mothers, I think women, because we're the nurturers, I think we're just wired that way. I absolutely agree.
100%, 100%. So again, they're saying that the motivation for why people want to use social media with boys, it's more about agency. That's more important to them. And for girls, it's communication.
Yeah.
And the social media companies know that. So they target that really strongly. And so here's the thing. The podcast ended with ideas on solutions, which I liked. And I thought this was really interesting. 4 different solutions the psychologist presented. One is—
Lay it out.
Yeah. One is the generation, the young kids, no smartphones before high school. Because when they're growing up and going through puberty and all that, those are formidable years of development, right? So if they're not exposed to smartphones and social media, he's like, that's going to allow them to develop and play and experience, things that a child should, right? And then he said they can use flip phones. If, they need to communicate, they can call their friends, but no smartphones. Number 2, no social media until 16. So they get past, again, puberty and all of that shit. And
Uh-huh.
so he's like, just delay a little bit. Number
Yeah.
3, phone-free schools.
Mm.
I really
Ooh.
like this idea. I love this idea. He's like, you can say put your phones away, but he's like, they're not going to put their phones away. They'll use them in the class, they'll use them at break, da da da. He's like, take the phones away at the start of school, put them in a lockbox, and then give them the phones back after school. Okay.
Haven't you seen these videos of kids whose teachers try to take their phones away
Yeah.
and these kids
Get
freak
violent.
out and start physical
Yep.
fights and, like full on drag out fights
Yeah.
because of their addiction to
Addiction.
a telephone?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. He used this analogy. He's like, that's if you don't take the phones away and you just say, put it away, and not physically take them. He's like, it's like being in a heroin clinic and saying to all the addicts, oh, put your heroin away. Don't use
Right.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't do that.
You can still have access to
Because
it.
it's an addiction, right? And then
Right.
the fourth idea, he said, more free play and independence for kids. So basically just allowing for them to get away from using the phone and just have them go outside and play more, get that kind of activity. Because what's
Mhm.
happening, again, these phones are just sucking all the time and energy, from people. So I think I told you this, Kelly, before we started, but recently Julia Roberts, speaking of how adults handle this versus kids, recently Julia Roberts had posted this very innocent photo of her having lunch with her like 20-something-year-old niece. And, they were both casually dressed. I think Julia maybe didn't have any makeup on. She had her glasses on, but it was a lovely photo, right? She apparently got so much hatred and so many ugly comments on social media that she put out an audio post, commenting on this.
This were about what?
She said,
Mm.
I put out this innocent photo that I just thought was a beautiful moment with my niece. And the comments I got from people were, oh my God, what happened to Julia? She looks terrible. She looks so old. She looks like a man. Oh, she should never go out like that. I mean, just on and on. And in this audio clip, she says, isn't it sad that something so innocent has to be turned this way? And she's like, I'm a 50-year-old woman and I was hurt. She's like, this really hurt me. So she's like, I can't imagine what it's like if I was a young girl. She's like, I can't even imagine what kind of impact this would have if I were a young girl. And this is, her admitting that she was hurt by these comments too. And so, going back to what happened to me with the student, I'm a 57-year-old woman who's a professional. And I was really devastated by this comment.
Yeah.
But with no recourse.
Right.
There's no justice with this. And that's where it's like, wow, where are we going? We can't keep heading down this road or else, that's the end, right?
Yeah.
It's just the end.
I mean, that's the most depressing thing about it is that they did not have your back.
Right.
This
particular institution.
Yeah.
Right.
This particular institution.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because again, when we brought in, the lens, it's like, I would like to just make sure that the conversation is limited to this particular institution. But then the value of May and her professionalism in the world of journalism and what she can pass along to journalism students and the pursuit of truth is invaluable.
It's the thing.
And I think it's just trying to find that other institution or another venue or another way to be able to pass along, because I think that's what your skill set is and should be celebrated and should be acknowledged, should be supported and backed up.
I will say one thing, and this is maybe me being not pessimistic, but a realist. This is a pervasive problem going on across campuses, college campuses, and professors will admit this, even at the top Ivy League schools. They're saying that it's become so contentious and that universities, even the top universities, will not support their staff because they're so afraid of what students or organizations will do that they won't back up there's
And
professors,
donors
yeah,
and
donors, exactly, board
yeah,
members, all
we've
of that.
witnessed it. We've
Yeah,
witnessed it all across.
had,
So
you know,
yeah,
Harvard, UPenn, MIT, all the schools have gone through this.
yeah.
So professors are now admitting, and I think it was 60 Minutes or some news magazine show did a story on this. This is when the Israel Hamas
Mhm.
conflict was, you know, flaring up, and it was, you know, kind of causing problems on college campuses. So they're interviewing different professors, and you know, one top professor was saying, the interviewer asked, "So what do you do now in class?" He's like, "I don't bring up anything controversial. I don't
Yep.
talk about anything controversial. I
Which
teach
is such a shame.
journalism. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? I have to start self-editing. I
Mm,
do in class. I'm
mm,
thinking, oh, should I bring that? Oh, me, they might get, if somebody might get offended by this.
mm, mm, mm.
You know, I mean,
Yep.
that's where it starts making a really much deeper impact in
Right.
society, when people feel like they cannot talk about things that may trigger somebody somewhere somehow, you
Mhm,
know, because it's uncomfortable.
mm.
Journalism is all about being uncomfortable. It's all about talking about uncomfortable issues, resolving
Mhm.
uncomfortable problems.
Right.
That's scary to me. That scares
Right,
me
Yeah.
the most. That
right.
scares me the most. Yeah.
And do you think that this is all a result of social media, or does it also have something to do with the way kids are being raised these days personally?
Well,
I mean, you know, because of all these, you know, everybody gets a trophy kind of thing.
yeah, actually, you know, this podcast, I want you both to listen to the full thing because it goes through that issue as well. It's about the fact that there's been too much coddling to a certain extent of
Mhm.
kids, and overprotecting them from,
Yeah.
you know, sort of discomfort or conflict or pain. And so therefore they're so protected in that way in the real world. But the irony is that they're being totally underprotected online. So there's the
Yeah.
irony.
Just
Mhm,
gonna say there's that balance,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So they're protected in the real world too much, so that they're like, you know, little babies. But then online, they can do whatever the hell they want and say whatever hell they want because they know there's no repercussions. But then they're being exposed to all of this madness. So
Mm.
it's really kind of crazy when you think about it, right? So that's where it's this like, you know, polar opposite sort of upbringing and exposure that's really messing everyone up.
This actually reminds me, I was listening to a podcast and there were advertisements for a social media site for kids
Mhm.
where there are no comments, no likes, no or maybe there are likes, but no DMing.
Okay.
huh,
So you don't have to worry about any weirdo trying to groom your child or something. And so it is sort of a way for kids, because everybody wants to be seen, right? Everybody wants to put their stuff out there, but it's a way for kids to be able to put their stuff out there and have only positivity and be protected in that sense.
Hmm.
I can't remember the name of it, but I'll look it up and then we can post it
And it's out
if
there already?
it's already out there.
Huh.
There are advertisements for it that I heard while I was listening to, like, I think
I mean, it's
This
great.
American.
Do you remember up to what age group or what age group?
I don't
Okay,
remember, but it
that's really
seems like it
interesting.
was younger kids,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
elementary school age or
yeah,
something.
I mean,
yeah.
it's a start, but like it's like, is Pandora's box, you know, I always say, has Pandora's box already been opened too wide? And you know, how do you get all of the other demons back in the box? Right?
Yeah.
Unless the social media companies are really willing to do something. But you know, we've seen those Senate hearings with all the social media heads coming together, and you know, they basically say, "Oh, we have all these mechanisms, blah blah blah," but it ain't working. You know?
What do you think
I think
about?
it does. I think it's working. I think the speed of it is catching up, because again, it is the pursuit of truth. It is a pursuit of finding out the stories,
Yeah.
especially in journalism. And I think people are smart enough to distinguish between truth and misinformation and disinformation. And
Yeah.
people call each other out. especially, I mean, let's bring it to brass tacks and talking about Kate Middleton, because before her announcement today, it was all about the photo.
Yeah.
Come on. This is a photo that we put in, Julia Roberts. We put out a photo. We want it to look the best that we can. So maybe we, rub out a little bit of this or put this, with kids, put this expression because he's probably doing this in the other one. It's like, again, you try to present to the public, but then you should identify it that this is digitally altered. This is presented in a way because I know it's out in the public and I want it to look nice, versus this is the real picture, but I want to put this picture up. I mean, I think there's other sources that put up a picture of me, with makeup and digitally altered, and then me, not digitally altered. And I don't mind that, because this is truth versus fiction versus the public presentation.
But you can't do it for
that would, yeah. Again, it's all about moving slowly, because there is always something we can do about it. But we're talking about the world population, vox populi, the voice of the people. It's like, it's always people want, is that, what's the truth though? What's the truth?
Yeah.
And that's the pursuit. And because again, monetization about the prettier photo is always going to bring in a lot more money, but then people are always going to be curious about, well, what does she really like? Or what does she really look like?
But
so
now,
I think we're moving, but we're moving excruciatingly so.
Okay, but it might become even more difficult to do that because of AI and the advent of AI.
That's the argument. That's the argument right now. It's like, I will go see the AI digital, the digitized version of a story of Cinderella, but I want to see the real, again, I'm just talking shit out of my mouth. But again, when you admit that it's AI, then you're protected, because you're going, I'm manipulating the truth to present a better product.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bottom line.
Yeah. You're assuming that people will do that though, that they will be honest, but that's unfortunately not going to be the case sometimes. And we're already seeing that, right? So that's the problem.
But I think it requires the power of the people to say, that's not a true picture. That's not the real picture.
Right.
And you need to find these
Don't
facts.
give your links. Don't
give me show me the receipts too. Yeah. It's again, I think there is power to the people against the voices of others who just want to, cash in or whatever, or fuck up somebody else's reputation.
Yeah.
But again, we need backup. And that's why the disappointment for your personal story, May, is going to happen. It just, unfortunately, it hadn't happened for your case yet. I mean, it's like telling these stories about backing people up with credibility and saying there was no substantiation to this, student's, evaluation. So this should be dismissed. It just didn't happen this time.
So here was actually my question to the committee, as well as, my deans. So if this was true, let's say if this was true that I actually said these things, are you not going to look into that? Right. So both ways, they're not going to take responsibility. That's the irony. I'm like, well, what if it was true?
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, think about it. It's like, what if it's, nobody's coming to me and asking, did you do this? And if so, we need to talk about.
Yeah.
So there's no responsibility anywhere. Yeah.
And it says what is that thing? He says, she says, or she says, she says, whoever says somewhere, someone says,
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
I know.
Makes me wonder, what are these people paying for? Well,
that's a question too. So, but anyway, all right. I'm now going to switch gears again to something much, much more fun, because we're going to end the show on this note.
Yes,
okay. And Tamlin and Kelly do not know this either. So this is the date. This is a little preview.
Woo!
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Do you see this?
Oh my God.
These are slides. I just got them made. I just got them delivered.
Are you kidding me?
Are they so cute?
10 pairs for my house.
Those are the Asian style butsu, the knobby things to massage your feet.
They're very
wear your socks.
They're very
I love that.
comfy. I've already tested them. They're very comfy, and then it's our little logo with the little shoes, right? And they're these like rubbery, your typical slides, right? Do you love them? Do you love them?
I love.
So
wait.
cute.
See, now again, my brain is starting to is worried for you. Did you trademark this?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I don't want anybody to steal that from you.
I know.
That's your deal, man.
Well, okay. So anyway, food for
Oh
thought.
my
Yeah.
God.
No. But anyway, so I ordered 3 different sizes for now, and I only ordered like 25 pairs for the time being, just because we want just a little trial run.
Okay.
But what do you think? Do you love them, you guys?
We love them.
love.
Kelly already said,
Cute.
how many do you need, Kelly?
I need like 10 pair. I throw big parties.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is your typical slide to have at the house, but these are both indoor and
Right?
outdoor. Both
Yeah.
indoor
I
and
like
outdoor.
that they're black too.
Do you like?
Yeah.
You know,
We can do
Yeah, I
different.
like-
love.
Here's the thing: we
love,
can
love,
do
love.
different colors in the future, different items, things like that. But figured we start with the simple slide
Yeah.
and see if
So
people take to it.
Oh
I think they
my
would.
God.
Like when I got them, I was like, I would totally wear these. Are you kidding me? I would
Are
totally
you
wear
kidding
these.
me?
Yeah. And then I showed
Wait,
them.
are you doing fulfillment
Not yet.
for anybody who orders it? You are doing it all
Yes,
yourself.
right now. Yeah. I did find a great guy who has a business. He's my supplier. He's based here. But he got these made for me overseas, and he's been very, very, very helpful. Young Korean American guy with his swag business. So
good.
so he's gonna kind of guide me, so on everything I need to do. But yeah, no, this is for us, you guys. This is the shoes off inside, merch, the side
Yeah.
hustle.
Oh my God. That is brilliant.
It's cute, right? I just figured like
Brilliant.
what more, this makes so much sense. Shoes off inside. Of course, you want slippers.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, house
course.
slippers.
Yeah.
House slippers, yeah.
I've looked
yeah.
into socks too with this logo and the shoes off inside on the sock.
Congratulations. What a wonderful idea. I know
Yeah.
socks, right?
Socks,
would
right?
be, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
we were talking
Yeah.
about doormats at one point, Kelly, right? You were
Yeah,
like,
doormats.
what a,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was an idea that,
Yeah.
Kelly had.
But hey, listen, if our viewers out there, if you have ideas on, different merchandise with our cute little shoes off inside logo, let us know. And then I would love to take a little unofficial survey for those of you who are watching and you saw the slides. Do you like them? Would you buy them?
Oh,
I mean, I would love to know.
How
Are you
much?
kidding? Yes.
How
yes,
much?
Yes.
Well, I haven't decided that yet, but I've been given some advice in terms of a price point. So
Okay.
I won't say now, but
I mean, it's
once-
hard to take a survey before you know how much you're going to charge, right?
That's true.
People
Well,
are like, yeah, I'll buy them if they were like $5. They're not going to be $5.
They're not
they're
going to be $5.
Go
Yeah.
online and look at the average cost of a slide. They're not $5. So
Yeah.
yeah, especially one as cute as this.
They're so
Right.
cute.
I know. I was so surprised at how
They're
well
so
they turned
cute.
out. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, all right, good. Good. So everyone approves.
Yes.
Are you kidding? We want.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. So like I said, 3 different sizes.
I'm not going to buy all mine right away because I want to see how they actually sell. And then
Yeah. No, but we can
have
do
25 pair.
25 pairs is the minimum order.
Okay.
But then I did 3 different sizes. So this size is the smallest, which is about a woman's 6.
Okay.
A woman's
Okay.
6. And then the next size is like a 7, 8.
Cool.
Okay.
And then the biggest size I got like a men's, kind of like a men's 10. Men's 10.
Oh,
or
for the
11.
men's. For
Yeah.
the men's. Okay. Yeah.
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 So I figured start with that and just see how it goes. But
I
yeah,
I think the average women's size shoe is what, 7.5,
7.
8. So I
isn't it
think that's
7,
perfect.
8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
figured. So, but the small size, I only got a couple of the small size because this is for
That's
me.
so wonderful.
I know. It's cute. Okay, good. Ha, that was my little surprise for you guys.
Yay! Thank
exciting.
you.
So everyone stay tuned in terms of when they're going to actually be available. But I
Mhm.
thought like a nice little teaser for this episode to end on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah, of course. I know
Yay.
it's kind of fun. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up because boy, we talked about a lot of important shit today.
Yeah.
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 But good to see you ladies
Good
again.
to see you,
But,
I miss you guys.
Kelly.
I know I miss you guys too. We
guys.
gotta, we admit this every time. So everybody, we don't see each other in person like
Correct.
at all.
We have not
especially
been in the
together.
same room talking this way
No,
at all.
we've never shot the show
We've been in
together.
the same room, but that was a really quick thing, and then
Yes.
just to sit down and do this, yeah.
I know. So maybe when your theater opens, we can use it as a space, a recording space.
Yes.
Oh,
We just have to coordinate it with Kelly Who's travel schedule. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah,
because
that's going to be the big thing. It's like,
abroad
when is
now.
Kelly into town? When is Kelly into town? When is
Yeah.
Kelly into town?
Yeah, I know. And you too, Tamlin. You're in town, but you're so damn busy.
I'm zipping in and out, but I will let
Crikey.
you know. And coordinate and everything. So,
Okay, good,
yeah.
good. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we're going to wrap it up. And hey, best wishes, healing vibes to Kate Middleton because of that cancer news. Let's hope she, I'm sure she's going to be good, but and she's in good hands. But that's a scary thought, especially since King Charles is also dealing with cancer. So,
oh my goodness.
yeah,
I forgot about
it's kind of a tough time right now for the family, but definitely sending prayers and healing vibes to all of them.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Good to see you all.
Good to see you, Meg. Good to see you, Kelly.
Okay.
You too. Bye, sisters.
Bye.
Bye, sisters. Bye.